Hi guys, Julia here, and as you might know from my Instagram, I'm on Salta this week, which means my brain is only thinking teacher training. So when I was trying to find a good topic for this week's video, I was like, what should I do? Should I do something about an activity? Should I do something about this, about that? And then I was like, right, why don't I make a video about something that we speak so much about on the course and something that we pay so much attention to on the course. And it's not only CELTA kind of important, it's just English teaching important kind of thing. So yeah, let's have a look. Right, so this something is called communicative purpose. Now, what is it and why do we need to remember about it? So as the name might suggest, it's the genuine reason for your students to interact. So it's the why of this whole interaction thing. And it's not when they pair check their answers to a gap fill. It's whatever meaningful communication they have. So the first big thing about communicative purpose is that it makes their interaction meaningful. So it's meaning driven. It's not accuracy driven. And that's a big thing about it. It also makes them engage in real life scenarios. So it's when we don't want them to just practice grammar rules on paper or practice their spelling on paper. It's when we want them to take the language we've taught them and try and use them in situations that kind of imitate real life situations and see how they cope with it. And then give them our feedback based on it. Now, it also gives them a chance to personalize the contents of the lesson. So it's whenever it's usually either at the very beginning when you have your lead in or towards the end when it's your freer practice or a follow-up stage when they can share their own opinions, they can share their own thoughts about a subject, and they're not limited by anything. So it's them voicing their opinions. And then because they're able to personalize it, it enhances their motivation because they can voice their own opinions, they can share their own thoughts, which is a good thing, right? Now, it also encourages their cultural competence. It's obvious in a diverse classroom, right? If you have students from around the world or if it's a multilingual class. It's also true for classes where all the students come from a very similar background because no background is 100% the same, right? And then we all have our own thoughts and opinions, and we've all been through different things in our lives. So interacting with each other is something that encourages us to share and encourages others to learn. So that's how the overall cultural competence kind of increases. And because of that, their pragmatic skills improve as well because since your activity reflects something that they're likely to do in real life, it provides this safe space for them to practice and to see how they should be acting in various social settings. And that's how they learn. That's how they know that, okay, this is the appropriate thing to do or to say, or like, oh, I should never say that, or this is how I react. This is the words. These are the words I choose and stuff like that. So a good thing overall, right? Now, some of the key features. So if you have an activity and you want to check whether it's communicative, whether it's truly communicative, and it will work as a good freer practice, for example, this is kind of a checklist that you can use to see where your activity is and if you need to change anything. So the first thing is the students make all the linguistic choices. You cannot be telling them what kind of language to use. So you can't be like, okay, discuss this, use there is, there are, or ask your partner 5 questions about their childhood, but only use indirect questions. That's not what a communicative activity is. That's what a controlled practice is, but not a real communicative activity. Another big thing is that your students receive immediate feedback. And when I say this, I don't mean that it comes from you. It comes from other students that they're interacting with. Because if you say something and I don't understand it, I will immediately let you know. I will double check. I'll ask you for clarifications. I'll ask you if I got it right. So, and if the person they're speaking to does not understand them, they will have to be adjusting. They'll have to be choosing other words. They'll have to maybe grade their language. So that's something that will train them up to be a more effective speaker. There's also always an information gap of some sort. So my partner knows something that I don't know, and there's always a task to complete. And because my partner knows something I don't know, there's no way I can complete this task on my own. So there is a real reason for me to interact with this person. It's not just, kind of tell your partner about your childhood. Okay, what's the task there? Why should I be listening to you? What's the point? So there has to be a final task, like a problem to solve or a decision to make, something that that a student cannot do on their own. Right. And just to give you a couple of examples of some kinds of activities that are good activities with a clear communicative purpose. The first one, very obvious, role plays. You assign roles. You might give them like little cards with tasks, and that's the problem they need to solve. So boom, great. Picture dictations. I have a picture. You cannot see it. So I'm going to describe my picture to you, and you will try to draw it. When you're done, we compare the pictures. That's it. Planning an event together. So could be a party, like a birthday party. Could be like a fancy dinner out. Doesn't even have to be an event. You could create a restaurant. You could create a new board game. So making something from scratch together, that kind of stuff. Making plans together. So I have my own schedule. You have your own schedule. Let's make some plans together. Let's see where we can fit 3 activities that we can do together. Surveys and questionnaires where your students have a list of questions, or maybe they make the list of questions. They go around, they mingle, they ask questions, they write down the answers, and then they summarize. So maybe some 90% of the students in this class prefer tea for breakfast, that kind of thing. Those are good because they can be adapted to any context. Like your role play can be anything, can be doctor-patient, waiter, customer, any student, teacher, mother, son. Any roles can be assigned there. Picture dictation, same thing. So if you want to personalize it even more, that could be them drawing the pictures that they will be using. So maybe, draw your room, and they describe it to their partner, or draw your best friend, or draw your perfect Christmas tree, or whatever. So as long as you have a clear task, it's going to work. Planning an event together, as I've already mentioned, doesn't have to be an event, can be anything that they make from scratch together. Making plans together is kind of any kind of a discussion where they need to reach a compromise. So making plans together, good. If you want it to be something about the past, they can talk about their experiences and maybe make a list of 5 things that both of them experienced in their teens. Right, so it could be anything along those lines. Service questionnaires can literally be anything. Right, so I might make another video and go more into depth with those, but we'll see. We'll see how that goes, yeah. So the main thing is, whenever it's a speaking task, whenever your students interact, make sure that they have a good reason to do that, because not everybody's motivated by just like, this is my chance to practice. Give them a real reason, give them a task, give them a problem to solve, and you'll see how more engaged they become and how more motivated they become to successfully complete the task that you give them. So yeah, that's it. That's all I have to say today. So yeah, you guys, thanks for watching. Follow me on Instagram, add me on LinkedIn. And I'll see you around. Bye.